Yo, 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 what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of My Perspective Podcast with your boy, Big Hawk. Thank you for tuning in with me for another week and another episode of great conversation. Check this out before I get started. And take what I say with a grain of salt. It's just my opinion, it's just my perspective, it's just my experience on life and how I seen things through my 50 years of living. I hope what I say resonate with you. I hope that it provokes thought. And I also hope that it provokes change, but if not, no harm, no foul, because guess what? It's just my perspective. Let's get into it. Man, this is an impromptu topic of conversation today because it just hit me out of nowhere. I mean, I probably should have been known it, but it just resonated so heavy with me today. I just want to speak on it. Um, and listen, in life, you have to have a reason for going that extra mile, right? We call it, you got to find your why. But what I'm discovering, and in my years of living and trying to become more and more mature, becoming the best version I could be every day, trying to be the best husband I could be in my marriage, so on and so forth, the best father I can be every day with my kids and my grandkids. You know what I'm saying? Man, what I'm discovering in raising three kids to adulthood, um, now having three grandchildren, um, with two and one on the way. And with my blended family, that's an additional uh, three more grandkids and more children. But what I'm discovering at the age of 50 years old, right? Your why has to be personal. Your why has to be personal. I don't know if this applies to everybody or just it was just for me. God just gave it to me. I don't know, but I'm gonna talk about it today. Your why has to be personal. We all know that your why is the reason for getting you up out of bed when you don't feel like it. Your why is the reason that make you go that extra mile when you seemingly don't have no more gas left in your tank, but you still muster up the strength to keep going because of your why. Your why is that carrot in front of you dangling that keeps you striving for greatness, that keeps you striving for perfection. But what I come to discover in my failures, my why has to be personal. I heard Will Smith say one time, he was talking about relationships. I talk a lot about relationships, so he was talking about relationships. You have to show up in your relationship for you first and foremost. If you're not happy, how can you make your partner happy? If you're not whole, how can you help your partner become whole? If you don't love yourself, how can you properly love your partner? How can you properly love your kids if you don't love yourself? How can you show up whole, healthy, in the healthiest way possible, in the wholest way possible, if it don't start with you first? I, for one, am a selfless guy when it comes to my family and my loved ones. I put everybody before myself. I was married before previously for 18 years, and I prayed to God that I will be the sacrificial lamb for my family. And I did just that. I went without, I worked 6, 7 days a week. I went hard for my family. And the reason why, I hate how being poor felt. And I wasn't third world country poor, but the poor that I experienced, I hate how it felt. So I worked my tail off to make sure I never experienced that ever again once I got on my feet. And because of that, I provided my family with a lifestyle that was comfortable. They didn't have everything they wanted, but they had all their needs met and they had a lot of what they desired. From my ex-wife down to my children. And I did everything to make sure they never experienced what I experienced. Right? So guess what that meant though? I never went on vacation. I think in my whole 18, 19 years of being married, I went on 2 vacations. One with the kids, then we took one by ourselves. Maybe a couple's retreat, 2 or 3 total in 18, 19 years of being married. Why? Because I sacrificed me for them. But in hindsight, I probably did them a disservice by not showing up for me, then letting my best version interact with them, and then giving them the best of me, which in turn will give the best of the relationship, create a better relationship with my then wife and kids, right? But I didn't do that. I gave it all to them, and I had nothing for me. I had nobody to pour into me. I didn't even pour into myself. So I'm saying today, this may not apply to everybody, but I'm saying today, your why has to be personal. Has to be personal. I can remember uh, my entrepreneur journey. My twins was born when I first had my first children, my set of twins. It sparked something in me. I went on this entrepreneurial journey, and I'm still on it to this day. And um, I did all types of businesses. I started them. Some of them were successful. Some of them weren't so successful. Um, but I always did things detrimental to building a better successful business because I put the feelings of my family first, which in turn hurt the success of my business in the long run. I'll give you 2 examples. I was selling life insurance. Had I stayed in life insurance, y'all would never see this podcast. And some of y'all might care less not about to see the podcast, but it's okay. But me telling my experiences probably would have never happened had I chose the best interest for my family rather than preserving the emotional fabric of my family. Me selling life insurance, right? That's a tough business. Tough business. I mean, it's a hard dollar. But once you master that craft, you can write your check to perpetuity because the residuals are endless. The residuals in life insurance are endless. I mean, the people who are successful in life insurance, they can ride off into the sunset. They can create a book of business, whatever number you think of. They can create a book of business, and that business can go on autopilot because of the monthly payments, and you can have sustainable income until retirement. But first starting out, you gotta kick up some dust. You gotta kick up some dust. You gotta go into the hedges, into the highway. You gotta scratch and claw, and you gotta be convincing to show the people the importance of life insurance. And when you first get started, that's not always easy to do because you green, right? But I was getting better at it day by day, little by little. But the checks was coming in, hit or miss, hit or miss. But we programmed to have a check every week by going to work for somebody else, right? So instead of me getting the fat check and we save it, we budget it, we don't have much, come from humble beginners. We splurge, thinking that it's gonna come back again at the same time, and it don't work that way. So guess what? The pressures and the stress from my ex-wife, and no disrespect to her, I'm not trying to make her feel no kind of way, but she was raising my kids. I was out working. So the pressures of her trying to make sure the kids have what they need, she put it on me because she was used to getting a paycheck every week, and she was used to me getting a paycheck every week. But in this entrepreneurial journey that we embark upon, the ones who want to be their own boss, want to be independent, the checks don't come every week. The checks come how they come. And it's up to you, the individual, to make that money stretch until it grows, until you can be self-sufficient. I wasn't good at that. I was terrible at that, as a matter of fact. So the pressure on me to produce at a rate that made her feel comfortable, I wasn't doing it. So what did I do? I gave it up. When I got a 9 to 5, and then looking back, I still was making $3,000 or $4,000 a month. But because it wasn't coming in every week, I might get $1,000 check here. I might go 2 or 3 weeks without nothing, and then I get another $3,000 check, so on and so forth. It might have been $2,000 a month, whatever the case may be. I'm not trying to fit the numbers. What I'm saying is ebbs and flows in entrepreneurship. But because we was new to it, it was pressure. It was pressure. Pressure gonna do things. They're gonna bust pipes or it's gonna make diamonds. I bust a lot of pipes in my entrepreneurial journey. I bust a lot of pipes in my entrepreneurial journey because putting my family first instead of putting the well-being of my family first for the long haul. So I sacrificed a 6 or 7 figure career for the sake of my wife so that I can ease her pain and ease her pressure, only to make $300 or $400 a week. And still was struggling to make ends meet. But because we got a piece of change every week, that eased her pain, that eased her mind. And it wrecked my brain. It wrecked my mind because I knew I could have went to another level. But because I was selfless and wanted to do right by my family, I did what I thought was right by my family. I blew it. Let's fast forward a few years. Now I'm in the trucking. I had enough money saved for a down payment on my own truck, my first truck. Well, it's my second truck, trying to buy my second truck. And I had the money for a down payment. At this time, the kid's big. We're in a small company, in a small little car. We had a little Mercedes. And I don't know if we got a little car. We got a little C-Class Mercedes. But at this time, my kid's big. Big bone kid. So we driving to the store. My baby boy yelling at me to tell his big brother to get off him. I look back there to make some changes. Shit, they couldn't get off each other. They was like sardines. She had been complaining about wanting a new car. But I was on the verge of starting my trucking business. And in trucking, once you get started in trucking, you got a decent vehicle, a decent truck, it ain't no build up. You making money instantly. My OG told me, and I chose to buy her a new car rather than get my truck. I told my OG what I did. He was my mentor in trucking. He said, man, I want to say congratulations, but you fucked up. He said it just like that. He said, I told you to get that truck, and in 6 months you could have bought your wife that same car. But now you got to start all over again, saving money to get the truck. And he never lied. That was in 2015, 2014. I wasn't able to get my truck until 2020 because I put her feelings first and the well-being of so I thought of my kids first. So we had 2 vehicles. We could just drove 2 cars until I was able to get her a bigger vehicle. But I said, nah, I'm always working. She needs this. I got it for her. And it set the dream back. It set the finances back. It set the wealth back. Because I stayed around making, this ain't about the money, but it's about putting you first and putting the best interest of your family first so you can create a better impact and a greater and produce greater for your family by putting yourself first and putting the well-being of your family first. You feel what I'm saying? And I was making about, at that time, $63,000 a year. It wasn't bad money. It wasn't bad money. At that time, it wasn't bad money. I was doing pretty good. It was real comfortable. But I could have went from 63 to 163 in 1 year. I could have went from 63 to 200,000 in 1 year. She could have got 2 cars in the next year. Had I followed my first mind and made the tough decision as a leader to not get the car and to get the truck. Because the truck make money. The car ain't make no money. The car depreciated in value. It's a depreciating asset. It's a liability. That truck is an appreciating asset. It's going to produce more money. Got it wrong. Those are the 2 instances in my life that I can vividly remember that I got wrong. And I sure kick myself every time I think about life insurance because I was almost there. And I'm not telling you the day I quit, the next week my phone was ringing off the hook. It was ringing off the hook, and I couldn't service the people. I had to put my name out there, put that time in, leads, and just show my face, letting the community know what I'm doing now. And I made some good relationships and did right by a few good people, and they begin to tell their friends and tell their friends. And now those referrals start to come back in. But I folded under pressure. I folded under pressure. I said all that to say this. Make sure your why is personal. Make sure your why starts with you before anything else. I know you want to pay your parents' house off. I know you want to buy your mama that new house. I know you want to become debt free for your family, your loved one. But make it about you first. Make it about you first, so you can then do the necessary things for your loved ones. Steve Harvey said this: the best thing you can do for poor people is not be one of them. That's kind of critical and harsh to say, but it makes perfect sense. We want to be in the trenches with the people in the community, with the people who are less fortunate. But what's good is being in the trenches when you can't help them, when you can't teach them how to fish, when you can't give them no bread to eat, you can't give them no food to eat, you can't put no clothes on their back. What good is being in the trenches if all you got to offer is marching and a damn sign? You can't teach nobody how to fish. You can't get nobody no skills to better themselves. I understood what he said when he said that. The best thing you can do for poor people is not be one of them. I understood what he said. Make sure your why is personal. Because if it's about you, that's why personal development is so important. That's why personal development is so important. When it's about you, you got to be selfish. When it's about you, you can be better for others. You can be better for the people around you. But when it's about them, you'll fall under pressure easily than when it's about you. When your name on it and your name alone on it, you're going to go hard. You're going to go harder. But when it's attached to somebody else, sink or swim. You'll easily fall under pressure as opposed to making sure you give it your all when it's tied to you and you only. Why you think the greats are the greats? Because their why was personal. Their why was personal. It wasn't about buying mama a house. It wasn't about getting daddy a car. It wasn't about coming debt free. It was about being great. It was about being great in whatever area expertise you endeavor to go in. It was about being great. That's why the greats are who they are. Terrence Crawford just beat Canelo Alvarez. Man, didn't nobody give him a chance but a handful of people. But he believed in himself. His why was personal. It wasn't about his wife. It wasn't about his mom. It wasn't about his kid. It was about him. He knew in his heart he can beat that guy. He showed the world he can do it because his why was personal. Got to make your why personal. Don't put nothing or nobody in that place where you're supposed to sit alone. Do not put nothing or nobody in that seat where you're supposed to sit alone. Every morning you wake up and do your routine, whether it's pray, whether it's meditate, whether it's read, whether it's watch your motivational podcast or whatever the case may be. It got to be about you. If it ain't about you, the success gonna be nominal at best. The progress gonna be nominal at best. Most of the time it's gonna be minuscule, mediocre, because it ain't about you. When you make it about you, you tend to go the extra mile. You tend to go to the next level. You tend to achieve the greatness you desire. Never forget, make your why personal. And I'm gonna land the plane right there. And that's it for this episode of My Perspective Podcast. And I love y'all. Till next week. Peace.